Yes, people, welcome back to GunnersHub. I hope you're all fit and well. For those that are joining now on this video, be sure to like the videos that you're watching on this channel and subscribe. Put the notification bell on also so you don't miss any content that I'll be uploading to this video. Now, it was good to be back talking about the Arsenal. We'll have the lovely Sam joining me today. So, Sam, big up yourself, and I appreciate you coming on, man. It's love and blessings always. Hope you're well. We'll get into the thick of things and talking about Arsenal. I mean, let's talk about firstly the transfers, right? We'll unwind. I'll go from the top. We'll talk about the transfers, and then we'll get into the thick of things and what Arsenal are doing, the results, and so on and so on. The transfers, we've had some outgoings. Have the likes of Ramsdale's gone, Emil Smith Rowe. We're happy that we've got the substantial amount of fee for them. So that's Smith Rowe, Eddie Nketiah to Crystal Palace, Ramsdale has gone to Southampton, Smith Rowe, Fulham. And we've brought in the likes of, obviously, David Raya was on loan, so we've made that a permanent deal. Calafiori, Mikel Merino, and Neto, and Raheem. Now, the talking point will definitely be about Raheem Sterling because, obviously, that's a last-minute deal that Arsenal had the opportunity to do last minute. So I'm guessing Mikel and Edu had a chat internally with the team and the staff and said, look, you know what, is this a comfortable deal to do? Let's do it. They've done it. So, Sam, to you now, do you think Arsenal, firstly, have done enough in the window to either, would you say it's enough to compete with City, or do you think we've done enough to compete with City and more? What is your views on it?
Personally, I feel like they've addressed the main areas that needed readdressing.
Yeah.
And I think they were quite open with what they were prioritizing and what they wanted to do. And the main thing they wanted to do was to get people out of the team who weren't active in the team. So obviously they've sold Emil Smith Rowe, which obviously hurt a lot of Arsenal fans. But I think being realistic, he wouldn't have got as many minutes as he wanted with the way the team was setting up. We've sold Eddie Nketiah, we've loaned out Reece Nelson, sold Aaron Ramsdale, and got a replacement in for him, who's an experienced goalkeeper. So in terms of getting people out the club that weren't really involved, they've done that. In terms of the people they've brought in, we've solidified the defense. We've actually got people who can play in any of the positions in the back four. We've got 2 Premier League goalkeepers. Midfield is kind of solid, although, you know, with the North London derby coming up, we've actually got Rice and Marino unavailable. So all of a sudden we look light again. And obviously up front, Raheem Sterling. Now, I think a lot of people probably were surprised and didn't like the fact that it was Raheem Sterling that's come on because he's a Chelsea player and people think he's gone past his best. But ultimately, you know, in terms of what we're looking for, Premier League proven, in terms of what he's done, his record, he's the perfect fit, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. Sterling, we can't undo success. That's one thing we can't do. We can't undo success. Raheem, in my opinion, I think the Raheem, and people need to remember, it's a loan. It's a loan deal. We bought him.
Exactly.
We're not covering 50% of his wages. We're covering less than that. Chelsea are covering the majority of his wages. The way Arsenal fans, some Arsenal fans are going on like we've spent a substantial amount on him. We've thrown 80 million at it and it's a player that we don't need. No, that's not the case. Arsenal were presented this opportunity on deadline day and they took the opportunity. I would have rather took Raheem Sterling than nobody. Let's not forget, what he's done at City. He's worked with Pep, one of the greatest managers of all time. He's worked, and when Mikel was at City, his numbers were unbelievable. They were just, they just rocketed. So let's not, I don't want certain Arsenal fans to be doing all this, acting so shocked and this, that, and the next. It's not what it, this is. I didn't expect Raheem Sterling to be an Arsenal player come the end of the transfer window. We just didn't. But he's Premier League proven. You know, he's played in numerous big games.
Yeah.
He's played City. You know, he's got a good CV. Let's not forget that. We can't undo history. We can't undo what he's done. So, and it's a loan deal. You know, Raheem Sterling, I think it is a brilliant addition. And I know people are going to sit there and probably laugh and clip me and this, that, and the next. But let's not forget, we want Premier League proven. Well, I'm not sitting here saying, well, Raheem's going to push us to the title. That's not what I'm sitting there saying. I'm just briefly touching on the Raheem Sterling and saying that is a brilliant loan deal. I really do think that is a really, really good addition. Addition. Now, that's a key word, addition. Do I think what we've done enough in the transfer market? No. We've bolstered up our defence. Brilliant. You know, defence, we are absolutely rock solid. We're solid. You know, people can play in different positions, and that's what Mikel likes, versatility in the team. Midfield, okay, yeah. My opinion, we could have done with another midfield. We definitely should have signed a striker. Now, that's where we are. Yeah, that's my problem. The problem is the striker. I'm very, you know, I said on one of the videos at the end of last season, when Mikel said at the end of the game, he said, look, don't be satisfied. And that is what I took. I thought, do you know what? This transfer is going to be key. Who he brings in is going to be key. We've brought in some brilliant players. Let's not get that twisted now. Let's not forget what we've done. But I think we have not. For me, it's a big opportunity missed. It's a massive opportunity missed. Yeah, I really. So yeah, considering the likes of Jesus, he gets injured. He's injury prone. Thomas Partey, he's injury prone. They can't go 38 games plus Champions League games, Cup games without injuries. Jesus is already injured. Unfortunately, Rena's already injured with a shoulder injury. So we are, in my opinion, we're short. I'm not saying, oh, we're not going to win the league because it's still early. We're still so early. But we have not made the most of our opportunity to really go ahead of City and be like, okay, can confidently sit and say, look at this team, we're gonna win the league. What do you think, Sam? Do you think that I'm spitting facts, or do you think, you know, I'm being a bit too critical of the transfer window we've done?
No, I think you're allowed to be critical because end of the day, I think what we lacked a lot of times was a clinical edge. If we look at who the most clinical player in our squad probably is, everyone will probably say Leandro Trossard. And for long periods, he wasn't even a starting player, you know. I think there's times, I mean, Havertz has, you know, blended very well into the team and everything. But, you know, look at that chance he had at 1-1 where he was kind of through on goal. That is where you'd want an ice cold finisher to bury that. You know what I mean? Those are sometimes, you know, where, you know, the key differences can be made. Now, Raheem Sterling, whether he can be the one to plug that gap because he can play in the up front position as well, I don't know. He's not a striker, but he's different in terms of he's someone that can create that sort of magic that, you know, we'd want. I think, and I literally think that is what's missing, you know, in this Arsenal team. You look at Isak, obviously he would be the number one target we'd want. You know, he's got that magic, he's got that finish, he's got that aura, you know, about him. We don't have too many players like that anymore. In the past, we've had Henry, we've had Van Persie, people that you give them one opportunity and you know it's a goal. You know, and yeah, so I agree with you on that. But in terms of like trying to compete with Man City, in terms of what we do have, because our defense is so good, I think Mikel has kind of seen that and realized we probably don't need that as importantly. I know it's a bit of a risk. We probably don't
Mhm.
need as many goals as as we want. I mean, if you look at our form this year, it's unbelievable. I think it's like what 18 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. So it
And
is really good, but it is City we're competing against. That's the problem.
that's right. That's right. You know, it's the word we're using again, going into another season trying to compete. Well, we are trying to compete, yeah, granted, but we're also trying to win the league. And we're going to be sitting here using the same word. We're not clinical enough.
Mm.
That's what it comes down to. We're not clinical enough. You know, Havertz and Saka in the Brighton game that we had on the weekend, 1-1. We had, we'll touch on the Rice getting sent off and whether it was a red card and the second yellow and all that.
Mm.
But he got sent off. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was in the 49th minute. It was somewhere along there, 49th minute ish,
Yeah, somewhere around that time.
something like that. So, are we saying that what we couldn't have granted 10 men? Absolutely, it's going to be hard, and our tactics change, and it take a while to get back into a full focus on the match and to grasp these sudden tactics, because you're not going into the game thinking you're playing with 10 men. So I understand that excuse me, you have to blend into these new tactics on the field last
Mm.
minute. But these players are professional enough and have got the experience to know you have to take the chances, especially knowing, look, we haven't gone out and got a striker. Those 10 men on the pitch know that. They know they have to take any chance they get. And I understand sometimes, it's not possible because either the
Mm.
keeper too good or we've, swung at it and it's or whatever. But again, I be going into this season saying we're not clinical enough. And
Yeah.
yes, the sending off made it harder for us, 100%. But we, better than a loss. I understand, but it feels like a
Mm.
loss. I feel like it was a loss because that's 2 points dropped. Now at the end of the
Mm.
season, it might be a point gained, a really important point gained. But I feel at this moment in time, it's 2 points dropped because the margins are small. It's
So
the
tight
margin,
now.
the
Yeah.
margins again. It's the
Yeah,
margin.
but I think, I mean, traditionally, Brighton have always been a tough team for us.
100%.
Um, you know, so the fact that even we went to 10 men and we're still making chances, I'll say, yeah, it's a positive. You know, but I think in terms of context, we are playing against a team that has a striker who can score back-to-back hat tricks. You know what I mean? Like nothing. Um, and that is why we're so critical of this team. I'll be honest, this Arsenal team is amazing. They are very good. They're probably, you know, they deserve a lot of credit. But right now, until the trophies show for it, competing against this Man City team, we're never going to get that credit ultimately. So, which is why, unfortunately for them, they're going to have to be taking that level of criticism.
And that's it. You can see what Haaland's doing already. He's got 2 hat-tricks already.
Yeah.
Shows the quality and the ceiling that needs to be raised to compete with such a team like City. So let's see. It's early. I'm not being critical of Mikel because I love Mikel. He's a brilliant
Of
manager.
course.
Done to this club and how he's turned it around and how it feels like a family, and it's very. We've got a big connection with the fans and the players, and it's just a nice aura now.
Mm-hmm.
Around Arsenal when we speak about
Yeah.
Arsenal, we're highly of them. We're just missing a few. It's the striker, but January transfer window it could be an opportunity. We just don't know. Eddie didn't actually, clarify what window. He won't be disappointed. Now, he didn't say what window. So maybe there's something in it. Maybe there's not. The Sam, the Declan Rice red card. Now, what is let me just hear you. What do you tell me what you think?
I'm gonna be very real. I mean, if it's the law that if you kick the ball away, it's a yellow card, then yeah, it's a yellow card. And Declan Rice knows he shouldn't have done it. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Cool. However, I think Saka actually said it after the game. It's not even about that. It's just a matter of consistency. 100%. Now, this happens in basically every single game we watch. I play football as well. I literally did the same thing yesterday myself. You can literally see what the Brighton player did. The ball was rolling forward, and Declan Rice kicked it away. I mean, if someone is trying to take an advantage on the pitch, I'm going to kick the ball back. No, where are you going? It happens every single game. So I don't understand why the referee has taken this situation specifically to almost make an example out of Declan Rice, because there's so many opportunities where he could have given someone a booking for the same thing. I mean, the obvious comparison is João Pedro. He's literally booted the ball away, and he's not said nothing about it. Everyone saw that, and he knows Declan Rice is on a yellow card. He's nudged the ball away and then uses Declan Rice as an example. So for me, it's not the decision. It's the fact that if you're going to do this, you need to do this all the time. And that's the problem with the referees in the Premier League at the moment.
Well, you would have thought that they had this season to go away and do their homework. They clearly haven't, because that game was a pure example of, that ref was clueless. He didn't have a clue what he was doing. He didn't ref the game like he was an experienced referee at all, in my opinion. I think that refereeing on that game on the weekend against Brighton was absolutely shambolic. It was diabolical for me. One, if you're going to go by the letter of the law, then do it consistently. You can't pick the law up and drop it as and when you feel that is necessary.
Exactly.
The referee, in my opinion, made it about him. He was very ignorant when he made that decision about the Declan Rice, because you're right. When Pedro booted it 30, 40 yards down the other side of the pitch, you could see Mikel. Even I was watching the game like, come on, that's a yellow.
Yeah.
But because you're saying the letter of the law. So obviously that decision, he gave the red card, the second yellow, which turned to a red card, because he made that decision, and obviously in his mind he's thinking, well, I'm going by the letter of the law because I wouldn't have given this card. Right, okay, cool. It's not even that. So if you're saying the letter of the law, then why did you not give Pedro a yellow card when he booted it across the other side of the... You can't...
Yeah.
Has to stop. The thing is, it's these are the small decisions and margins that could cost the team. Forget Arsenal. Forget us just for a moment. A team that could cost. Like, we could look back and that decision changed the game in that ground. We could have done more to be clinical in the next. But those are big game-changing decisions.
Yeah.
If you didn't give Pedro a yellow, then you shouldn't have given Declan Rice a yellow. In my opinion, you should have maybe just had a word with them both and say, look, lads, calm down, And the ball was moving.
I'm going to just add, I mean, if you want to be extra specific, the ball was rolling. So therefore, the free kick should have been retaken anyways.
The ball, you cannot, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I sometimes when I'm speaking, I feel like people think I'm delusional, but I know I'm not. The ball is moving, right? You cannot restart play when the ball is moving. Sometimes when a team want to quickly restart play and the ball's moving and they kick it, sometimes the ref blows a whistle and pulls the game back and said, ball's rolling. So I don't know what the ref's intentions were there, but the ball was moving, and Veltman kicked through Declan. He knew exactly what he was doing, and the ref fell for it. The ref fell for it.
Exactly that.
I'm not putting the whole game on the ref, but you have to be consistent. It just goes to show, those small decisions and small margins can really, really change the game. It really
100%.
can. All the decisions he was making was going against us. Now, you talk about letter of the law, it has to be consistent. The rest I don't know what to say, but I feel really gutted. Yeah, I feel really.
Ultimately, because that's the game changer, isn't it?
Yes.
1-0 up, and Arsenal 1-0 up. No one tends to come back against us. We go to 10 men. Unfortunately, Arteta is about to make the change, and they score just before he does it. And from that moment, obviously, we're set up to not lose the game. And, we could have won it, like I said, if we were a bit more clinical. But I think at the end of the day, we didn't lose against a very good Brighton team. So we're just going to have to take that and, North London derby next, isn't it?
That's right. And that decision has led Declan Rice to miss out on the North London derby against Tottenham. Big miss, Sam.
I think, obviously, this team is able to rotate players, but then, Mikel Merino is injured as well. So I think the question now is who he'll put in there. What do you reckon? I've got my own ideas on what he's probably going to do and what I'd want, but
hear me for a minute. What do you think? Well, I don't even know, because it's 2-point shots. I don't even want to risk this. I'll probably do that in another game. But Zinchenko in midfield, Calafiori or Timber on the left in defence. You think that's too much of a risk, or would you go with the likes of Jorginho and Partey and then put Havertz back in midfield?
Yeah, to be honest, this Arsenal team has so many combinations we could do, and it would probably all still work. Zinchenko in midfield, he plays in midfield for his country. He can definitely play there, but I don't think that's how Mikel Arteta wants to use him. No, as we've seen, he's never put him there. And I do believe that what's likely of what's going to happen is that he's going to drop Havertz into midfield. I can't see him wanting to start Jorginho, because then you're going to have him and Partey, and I feel like he's going to want a bit more going forward.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of Arsenal fans make a mistake in regards to Havertz playing in midfield is that when he does play in that centre midfield position, his role is actually very different from a Declan Rice or a Xhaka. He plays almost like a false nine in the midfield position.
Yes.
So a lot of times we end up in a 4-4-2 formation, not in a 4-3-3, which is why I'm not opposed to it, but I feel like it only works in certain games. So I got a feeling that's what he's probably going to do, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And I know there's a lot of critics of Kai Havertz out there, but I do think he's improved massively under Mikel when coming to us, and his off the ball work is brilliant. He's very, very clever off the ball. He knows where he needs to be, what positions he needs to be in. 9 times out of 10 you can count on Havertz being in the box, and he's always ready to get a head on it or get his leg on it. So I'll be really, really intrigued to see what Mikel Arteta does in the North London derby. Who do you think he should put down the middle? Do you think he should put Trossard? We don't even know if Jesus is going to be fit enough to start that. It's just a lot of uncertainty in the North London derby, and now it's just, I just feel like we was injured in training, and you've got Jesus out, and and Declan Rice. We haven't got much to play with.
I know what you mean. I think what people forget, I don't want to jump the gun, but our next game after the North London derby, I believe, is against Man City.
Yeah,
it is. So 2 massive fixtures.
Too much.
Yeah, but before I jump to that, I think there's also the fact that when you I always mispronounce his name. Yeah, he could. I won't be surprised if he featured as well. Maybe not from the start, but Arteta's clearly made him a first team player now.
Yeah,
Um, so it wouldn't be a shock to me if he was to get some minutes in this game as well.
be brilliant to see him coming on Tottenham, wouldn't it? I think he'd is
Mm,
you could see is that you can see that he's got a high ceiling. You can see he's full of energy when he comes on. Um, and it's nice that he's been slowly integrated into the first team. He looks really, really good. He looks sharp. He looks ready. He looks hungry, and that's what we want from
yeah.
the academy players coming into the first team. So hopefully that is an option. Who would you put down the middle?
Oh yeah, that was what you originally asked me. If Havertz was to drop into midfield, the obvious replacement would be Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
However, if he's injured, I have a feeling he could likely use Trossard or Sterling
Yes.
in one of the either two positions.
Yeah.
I reckon that is probably what is going to happen.
Yeah. Who would you lead more towards if it was your decision?
I'd rather have Trossard in the middle,
That's
just
right.
because I mean we've seen him play in the false nine.
Yeah.
We've seen him play on the left. I just feel like with his clinical finishing in the middle in central positions, it could be the difference. And Sterling, well, Sterling, we know his profile. He can beat players. He can do anything.
Yeah.
And obviously
Definitely.
Saka on the right. It just makes
Yeah.
us more unpredictable.
It does. Yeah. Definitely. And Raheem's got a lot of pace. I think that's what we lack at times. Pace. I know Martinelli. Um, he's got a burst of pace, hasn't he?
Mm,
Sometimes when he's one on one, he doesn't feel like he seems confident in himself. On one on one.
yeah.
I've noticed lately he's not confident at all. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's set up the tactics or but he
Mm.
just seemed confident. Confident. Well, it would be nice to see that confident Martinelli back at some point. Would you start Raheem?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I can't see any reason why we wouldn't. I mean, for him to be having his debut in the North London derby, that's a bigger motivation. This is a guy who wants to prove himself, you know.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being a star man of that game if he was to start.
I agree. I agree. I think he's gonna come and he's gonna have a really, really good season. I really do. And if
Mm.
he did come and have a good season, would you make his loan move permanent? Like would you have no obligation to, putting in a bid for him or whatever after the season and bringing him in on a permanent move? What would you say to that? Or do you just think, do you know what? We'll just have him now and then once he's gone, he's gone.
Um, I mean, well, it depends on the circumstances around it.
Yeah.
Um, my thinking would have been that before Raheem Sterling became available, the board probably had someone in mind that they wanted. And obviously, if this person wants to become available, I don't think they would go back in for Sterling. So I would
Yeah.
say it's more a situational thing. Even if he was to really have a solid season, I mean, the wages he's on and everything, it's a lot of compromise.
Yes.
Would he really be willing to do that? That's another question.
That is another question. Yeah. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see definitely what happens, what Mikel's tactics is, and what he's thinking for the North London derby. And obviously, with in mind the Man City game as well. After that, we've got a very
Mm,
and important schedule coming up. Arsenal do definitely need to be clinical. You've got these international break now. They need to just, you know, rest, restart, recharge, um, and go again. Did you see the bid that Saudi put in for Trossard today?
yeah, I saw that, and I won't even talk too much on it. The board knew best. They rejected it straight away because there's no way we can afford to lose Trossard right now.
Absolutely not. No, definitely not. And I've seen some fans saying, "Well, cash in and put that money towards a striker."
Insane.
It's crazy,
Insane.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, Sam, It's been lovely to have you on the channel. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, you can come on again soon. You know where I am. And people watching, like the videos, subscribe to the channels, and put the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any content on this channel. And it's been good to be back talking about the Arsenal. Hopefully, when I come back on, it will be a bit more positive. You know, I'm always going to support the Arsenal. Just want this club to do well. Hopefully, I can come on and talk a bit more positively about the results and fixtures coming up, and you know what we can predict in the future. Hopefully, the Premier League this year, but
so
too soon. Let's hope. Let's have our fix and you know hold on to the badge tightly to our chest. But yes, people. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you soon. Stay blessed. Thank you.
Thanks for that.